Hi, everybody. It's Paul here from Clear the Field. I'm going to bring in my partner, Ted, shortly. And we have a special guest joining us today, Gordon from the Athlete Archives. And Gordon, Ted, and I are going to undertake a very special challenge. We had a lot of fun. Hope you enjoy the episode. I'm here, as always, with my podcast partner, Ted. Hello, Ted.
Hey, Paul.
And there's a third talking head in our box today. Hello, Gordon.
Hey, Paul. Ted.
So Gordon is the mastermind behind the Athlete Archives YouTube channel. It's a wonderful show. If you enjoy what I do at Project 318 or what Ted and I do on Clear the Field, you're really going to want to follow this man. Gordon is doing some fun, thoughtful, accessible, multimedia baseball history from Jack Glasscock all the way to Terrence Gore. There are some flourishes of baseball card history and some extremely, extremely knowledgeable guests, if I do say so myself.
Mm.
And you get the fun, Gordon. You get the whimsy, whether it's on the bullpen card history or the groundbreaking baseball mustaches. And you get the humanity in every story you cover, the research, the craftsmanship. There's always some surprises and humor. You wear many hats on that show, literally. And Gordon's is the only show on YouTube or anywhere else where I actually really look forward to the commercials. And if you check one out, you'll see what I mean. Good stuff, man.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me. Of course. Yeah, you've been a great guest twice now. Hope to have you a third time. We were kind of waiting on that book to get finished, I think. But
Oh yeah, books are a labor. I have learned, but I would be happy to come back anytime.
I would invite myself onto your show, but I heard the word knowledgeable thrown out there, so I think I'd disqualify myself.
We'll see what we can do about that.
You're nearing 100 shows, aren't you, Gordon?
Yeah, it's funny. I never thought, when I started out, I thought I'd give it 1 year. I didn't want to be, I don't remember the statistics I saw early on, the number of people that, and you and I had talked offline about this, but I also publish on Spotify. And I actually thought that that's where I would find a home. But as I mentioned to you earlier, Spotify, you don't really have that user interaction, that subscriber interaction that you get on YouTube. And I want that. I don't want to just be talking to myself. So I've kind of, veered towards YouTube. And when I started, I saw a statistic that the vast majority of people, just like the vast number of small businesses that start, don't make it a year. And so I thought if I could make it a year, that was the old college try, and here we are going on year 4 now. So I'm giving it a go.
You get some hella good comment sections on some of your videos, like old school message board. Everybody chipping in.
It has been good. What's shocking, dude, is actually YouTube analytics are pretty good. They can break down. I don't know how they get it, but they break down age and country of origin and stuff. Actually, I got a female to watch, which is like,
look at that. Pop the champagne bottle.
And it was not my wife. It was not my wife.
I'd be more impressed if it was your wife.
She doesn't watch my stuff. You kidding me?
Exactly.
So is there anything coming up that you're excited about on the show?
I am. I just finished editing a video of your favorite athlete and mine, Champ Summers.
Oh,
yeah.
He could be in our show today.
Oh, well, I hope not. We'll see. But yeah. I know he's one of your favorites.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Legendary
learn a lot about the name, legendary player.
For those of us who don't know who Champ Summers is, give me a 5-second sneak preview.
He was probably the best athlete you've never heard of. He was a five-sport letterman in high school, and baseball wasn't one of those sports. It was tennis, football, basketball, track, and cross country. He was also a swimmer and a diver, but his high school team didn't have those sports. He didn't play baseball at all since he was 13. And when he was in college, his senior year, playing college basketball, one of his buddies suggest that he should try out for the baseball team because he was playing softball, and he did. And first plate appearance, he hit a home run. A couple years later, he's playing in the major leagues.
Amazing.
So, yeah, it's an amazing story of a guy that's uh, unfortunately he died really young. But he was a Detroit Tiger, Cincinnati Red, and a Cub for a little while. I think he was a Cub for 1 year, maybe, uh, at the end of his career. I'm not sure if he actually played or not, Paul, but uh, yeah, I'm not sure. But he ended with the Padres. So
Yeah,
he might, maybe he
that's where
wasn't, maybe he wasn't a Cub. I can't remember now. I might be messing that up, but yeah, he ended with the Padres in a video that Paul and I talked about in the brawl between the Padres and the Braves, and it was pretty
but
epic.
Champ Summers is such a amazing baseball name. Like the
Yeah,
start is, and I think that's his real name. I think that was
his
his
name is
real name.
John,
Oh, okay. It was
but his
he must have got the nickname as a kid or
his
something.
dad called him Champ when he was a baby because he was so
Yeah.
ugly.
That's
Seriously, his dad, who was a boxer in the Navy, said that he looked like he went 10 rounds with Joe Louis, and
oh man.
he called him Champ. And I stuck.
That's got a Simpsons writers sound to it. Champ Summers.
It's one of the all-time great baseball names. We'll see how it
So
stacks up against the rest of these.
is that gonna be the 100th episode?
I don't know. I don't even know where I'm at, Paul. Am I at 99? I don't know.
No,
But no.
I think you're at 93.
Oh, okay. No. It's going to be the next one published.
Okay. Well,
But,
you got a minute. So
yeah.
you're gonna
Yeah.
have to top Champ Summers when you get to episode
I think I can.
100.
Thank you.
Well, hey, thank you for being with us today, Gordon. We all kind of came up with this idea together. You and I have talked about this in the past too, just
Hmm.
something to kind of do and appreciate a shared love of good baseball names. And so Ted and I, when we're doing our show together, we're going through a story, a crackling narrative is happening, and then I hit somebody's name like Biff Pokeroba. And we're hopelessly derailed for 5 minutes because that's just like
The endorphins just
the
start
endorphins.
flowing.
What you've run into this gorgeous, glorious baseball name, and all you want to do now is know everything about how Biff Pokeroba got his name.
Yep.
So we love the baseball names, and I was trying to think about what is a baseball name. I don't really have a good definition for the term. I think it's something that you instinctively recognize if you enjoy baseball and especially baseball history. And maybe we'll make a definition today because we're going to share some of our favorite baseball names. And there's a little twist. So here's what we're going to do. Each of us has chosen by whatever method 4 or 5 great names from baseball players past. It's that kind of name where you just immediately need to look up how the nickname happened or maybe like what the parents were thinking, but it stops you in your tracks. And so we're going to share some of the names that we love, except one of our names is totally made up. It's fake. It's Sid Finch style malarkey. And there was one guy named Malarkey, and I didn't use him. So what we're going to do is each of us is going to go through our little list and we'll give a fact or something that we liked about their story, that player's story. There's not strict rules with a contest like this, but when we're done, the other two are going to have to try and pick out the fake, see if they can find the imposter. And so I'll get us started and I will tell you what my method was. I downloaded a spreadsheet from baseballreference.com with a list of every major league player in history and some minor league players too. The spreadsheet went very large because it was 26,000 some names. And I want to impress you both by telling you that I scrolled them all to
Wow.
find the best ones. I call this the sicko method, and I don't recommend it, honestly. My first cut, I got down to about 600. So this is a vein I'm going to be mining for a long time now that I've done all this work. But I did eventually get down to a fine selection of 4 names for me.
At the end, I want you to just run through those 600 real quick. So just let's leave a little bit of time for that.
Put some electronic music behind it. It can be you can make an album out of it. All right, gentlemen. So first name, and I'm going to stretch my video editing skills if you're watching, and I'll put the names up so you can see it. So my friends here aren't going to have to spell these out or anything like that. But my first name, and Ted, you chime in if you've heard of any of these guys, but really this is for Gordon. Gordon, if you've actually heard of any of these guys, you can impress us and
call the whistle,
let us
like
know.
blow the whistle if we've heard of it.
If you've heard the name before.
Okay.
I tried to, I didn't put Urban Shocker on the list because that's an amazing name, but I'm like, Gordon knows that name.
It is.
That's a throwaway. I'm not going to do that. So my first name is a player named Boots Poffenberger. No hands. No hands.
Boots.
All right. No, Boots Poffenberger. Real name, Cletus Elwood Poffenberger.
I can see why he went by Boots.
Got to go by Boots. He was a right-handed pitcher from 1937 to 1939, Tigers and the Dodgers. And Boots is the kind of guy that you get one detail and a picture comes into focus really quickly. So once he missed a game, this was with the Tigers, I believe, because he stayed out so late the night before because he went out to a club. This is in the 30s, so a club it's live music. There's an orchestra playing, right? He went out to the club. He made himself the orchestra's conductor, and he stayed out the rest of the night. So missed the game the next day because of that opportunity. But the thing I really loved about Boots Poffenberger is he was apparently afraid of telephones. And this is confirmed by multiple sources. One of his teammates said he wouldn't go near a telephone. And one of his relatives later confirmed this. His stepson said if the phone rang in the room with him, he'd let it ring or he'd just get up and walk out. I have no idea why he did that. Boots was Boots. So Boots Poffenberger.
Boots gonna boots and Boots gonna conduct an orchestra at 3 a.m.
What's the genesis of the name?
I did not find the genesis of the name.
Okay.
It seems to be later. God bless the people at Sabre who participate in the bio project, where they put together the most incredibly detailed biographies on the most obscure people. That's where most of my information is coming from on these guys today. So if I found it, if I found the nickname origins, I'll call it out. So my next player is Quentin Tremblay III. And I noticed the suffix first. Tremblay is one of only 18 the thirds in Major League history, according to my enormous spreadsheet. And this one attracted me because I really liked the idea that there were 2 other Quentin Tremblays out there who thought that name had to be passed down into another generation. It turns out he was a second baseman for the American Association Washington Statesmen. This was in 1891. And after retiring from baseball in 1904, he went to law school at the College of William and Mary. He moved to the Pacific Northwest, and he became a frontier lawyer, specializing in writing charter documents for new communities that were springing up around logging camps. And in case you were wondering, there is one the fourth in baseball history, Daniel A. Lynch the fourth. But Quentin Tremblay III.
Well, often the thirds will be given the nickname Trey.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin
1890.
Tremblay, he's got the Trey at the beginning of his surname already, so it's built in.
Trey Tremblay. Yeah, that'd be a historical mashup there.
Charter
Quentin
documents.
Tremblay III.
Charter documents.
You got to start the town. The town's got to be incorporated. It was just the forest there.
Just name every town after yourself, I guess, at that point. Tremblay, Oregon.
It's Tremblay. This Trembly. You're making it a little fancier.
Quentin Tremblay the ninth.
Tremblay, yeah.
upset that we got the name wrong.
You're committed once you're into the third. I think it's got to be a fourth too. All right, next. Rip Vowinkle. Rip Vowinkle.
Vowinkle?
Vowinkel.
Okay. What's his story?
Right-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
Right-handed pitcher, the year 1905.
142 years old, rookie.
So his real name, I love this. This is a beautiful detail. His real name was John Henry Vowinkle. So he traded his real folkloric name
Right.
for the nickname Rip.
That is,
And
yes.
he apparently was given that name. He had it when he arrived in the major leagues. So it surely came somewhere in the minor leagues. Like that had to be bestowed on him. Rip Van Winkle is Dutch. Rip Vowinkle was German. And so he's this right-handed pitcher, and I saw some reports that said in his debut year, he was described as husky with oodles of speed. And he was also described as cool as a freezer of Neapolitan ice cream. Okay, which is beautiful, right? That's wonderful language from 1905. And so decades later, he retired from baseball and opened Vowinkle's Chocolate Shop in his hometown, selling soda, candy, and ice cream.
It's a goddamn great American novel you just wrote there, Paul.
Okay.
Rip Vowinkle.
That better be real. This is going to be really annoy me when it gets to the fake one.
So this next one is a little simpler, a little less colorful, but I just loved this so much. So there has been a baseball player by the name of Johnny Couch.
Wow.
And I just thought you're like a layer of upholstery away from being the greatest catcher of all time. And instead you're Johnny Couch. Like that is like this, like the universe like shot and just missed you by a hair with greatness.
Yeah, that's the unauthorized biopic of Johnny Bench. It's the main character name.
And so he retired from baseball. I thought this was interesting. He was a member of the California Highway Patrol, like that show Chips,
Of course.
Eric Estrada show.
Yeah.
He was a highway patrol officer on the motorcycle out there for 24 years.
Wow.
Between 1930s and 1950s. And he did live long enough. I wonder if this joke ever occurred to him, because he lived until December of 1975. So right after that huge World Series, starring the upholstered, far superior version of himself, Johnny, unupholstered, I should say, Johnny Bench.
So Mr. Couch played in the 20s?
Yeah, 1922 to 1925, Reds and Phillies. All right. And last but certainly not least, Herb Hash.
Wow.
Herb Hash.
I thought I would have heard of one of your guys. I haven't heard of any of these.
Oh, when you stare at a spreadsheet for about 8 hours, you can come up with some real buried treasure. So Herb Hash, I started laughing immediately when I read this. That's his real name, of course. His name is Herbert. He pitched for Boston in 1940 and 1941. And what I thought was so interesting about, so one throwaway detail that I thought was interesting, historical records, and again, thank you to the Sabre folks, the writers on the Bio Project, historical records assign him 3 different birth years, including 2 different birth years that he himself attributed. So there's some mystery with Herb Hash. But what I loved about this guy is he was actually made fun of for his name. But in the 1940s, it was a totally different context. So when I read this name, I think this is Mr. Marijuana, right?
Mhm.
But at the time, neither of those words were associated with marijuana. And what was hash was food. So it
Mhm.
was a common diner food, right? And so he got a lot of jokes about, being named after diner food. And there was even this incredible quote, and I don't care if this is real or not, but it was there, and I'm going to read it. But um, he was playing, and he was playing against the White Sox, and the White Sox manager was heckling him and using his name, and apparently the umpire reprimanded the manager. And he said, and this was a quote, he said, "You are violating an American League rule by calling a gent's name while you mock him. If you want to insult a guy, you've got to keep it impersonal."
Mm.
And I'm now obsessed. I got to find this rule, if there was such a rule. So that's Herb Hash. So to recap, Boots Poffenberger, Quentin Tremblay III, Rip Vowinkle, Johnny Couch, and Herb Hash.
Okay.
All right. My vote for the fake name is Johnny Couch.
Mm.
Because you couldn't think of Rip Vowinkle. You're good. You're not that good. That's amazing. Vowinkle. All right. Anyway, that's my guess. I can't wait to find out.
Okay, so my nickname when I was a baby was actually Rip because my dad worked all day, and when he came home, he never saw me awake. He said he didn't see me awake until I was like 2. So when I heard Rip Winkle, I just that's got to be my vote. If you made that up, it's genius. If you didn't make it up, it's even better. I hope I'm wrong.
So Rip is a really common name, common nickname. Tons of guys named Rip in the hallowed spreadsheet. So I thought that was interesting. You get some really good R names, some alliterative names.
This is Paul really stretching out the suspense. He's really milking this for all it's worth here.
So
there were 18 rips. Let me go through.
I thought that was interesting.
15
So
of them. Here, let's start with.
I'm so happy to say you're both wrong.
Wow.
Because Quentin Tremblay III is inspired heavily by a character from my kid's favorite cartoon, Gravity Falls.
Oh.
There was a 8.5 president of the United States who was crazy, and his name was Quentin Tremblay III. So,
well done.
Well done.
It just as it's a good thing that Rip Vowinkle is real, I am excited also that Johnny Couch is real because that feels like that could be a character.
Yeah, as sad as you are that one is fake, you're so happy to know the others are real. That's the way to look at it.
It's true.
Well done.
All right, mine are not going to meet that standard that you've said. I'll lay it out there. It's slightly more what maybe autobiographical. Not specifically, but these are names that I looked at in my life that struck me, and not because they are the most perfect names. The great baseball names like Johnny Couch with its dramatic irony of how it Johnny Bench, but ones that stuck out to me that I almost could name or at least reference in my head without looking at the spreadsheet. So kind of the flip side of the coin. First one, and you've probably heard of most of these, I'm guessing, would be Bill Wamsgans, who is famous in these sort of saber type circles. For me, I've always loved Bill Wamsgans because in high school, a fellow backup catcher, and as backup catchers number 2 and 3 on the varsity team, we had a lot of airspace to fill. My fellow catcher Zach was obsessed with the fact that Bill Wamsgans, to my memory, I didn't fact check this. Again, this is the opposite of Paul's work here. Turned the first unassisted triple play. In my memory, that was the factoid that my buddy was just absolutely obsessed with. And every time, I heard he would tell it to me every couple of weeks. He'd tell it to other people, so I'd have to listen to it. But Bill Wamsgans and his ability to correctly pronounce that name was also part of the experience. So that has become one of my favorite baseball names of all time. Next is
Can you spell that for us,
Oh,
Ted? Can you
I've
spell that for
I've
us
got
off the top of your head?
reference materials here. So WAMBS Whams Gans GAN double S, and it's the double S that'll get you every
You're
time.
prepared. All right.
I think, people called him Wambi for that reason.
Wambi, awesome. Next, I've got Moses Fleetwood Walker,
Hmm.
which is just by itself a really fantastic name. And Fleetwood, I do not believe is a nickname. His nickname was actually Fleet, as I saw it. So Moses Fleetwood Walker, and he's one of these guys that went by his. You got to say the whole name. You got to say the
Mm-hmm.
first, middle, and last name. American professional baseball catcher, credited with being the first black man to play Major League Baseball. There's all kinds of history that I didn't really bring back up, but I think it's an awesome honor, awesome name, awesome role in baseball history, and we share a last name. So talk about autobiographical. It's just the pure ego buzz of having the same last name as the guy.
Was Moses his real name?
Yeah, Moses
Okay.
Fleetwood Walker was his actual bio name, and then he went by Fleet.
That is a good name.
Okay, my next name, you may have heard of this guy, is Kennesaw Mountain Landis, a little known character in baseball history. But the reason I picked this name is not because it's obscure, but it is a name that when you are a kid and you are growing up and someone is named Kennesaw Mountain Landis, it makes no sense. You don't know why it's happening, but it's handed up to you as a sacred name. And again, you say all three names. There's something to that.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sparks your imagination about baseball history. And then you see the stiff collars and the stern expression and the shock of white hair. Now, as a corollary, this summer I found myself driving past Kennesaw Mountain outside of Atlanta, Georgia, and I just could not believe what was happening. I was just like, Kennesaw, was this guy named for this mountain that I am now driving past? And the answer is yes. He was named for Kennesaw Mountain, which was the site of the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain during the 1864 Atlantic campaign of the American Civil War, etc., etc. Abraham Landis, his father, had been wounded fighting in the U.S. Army at the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain. And so they named their kid at the place where the guy got wounded.
Which is a great story. So you thought that name was just constructed?
How would I have ever thought about what this name was? I never thought about it. It's like, I never
I'm just
questioned it.
excited for you that you had that moment of driving by the
Well,
mountain.
it was, I was like, I never given this 5 seconds of thought before until I see literal Kennesaw Mountain. And I'm like, well, I guess I have to think about this now. And I did, and it was quite satisfying.
Did you wonder if maybe the mountain was named after the judge?
Mm.
I didn't know.
That's hard to say which came first. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a half hour from me, Ted.
Is that right? No
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Common hiking spot.
That's awesome. Yeah. Unfortunately, at that time, I had a co-pilot. My wife, I was like, you got to look this up. You got to confirm it. She did. It was all very exciting. Okay, my next one is Lucky LaRue. Lucky LaRue. He's from Cornelius, North Carolina, which is near where my sister lives. And he was actually named Lucky. That was a real name, wasn't a nickname. He made the Kansas City Athletics in 1959. He was only 23. 6 games into his career, a fastball from Tiger Don Mossy hits Lucky in the kneecap and fractures his patella, ends his career.
Wow.
Lucky LaRue. How will you ever tell which one of mine is not real? I do have one more, which is not going to be as interesting as Kennesaw Mountain Landis. I should have ended up. But this is a name that also captured my imagination. Andy Van Slyke. We all know who Andy Van Slyke is. I picture him like flying through the air, like catching fly balls in the outfield and like slamming into into walls. Uh, and that was great, but something about the name Andy Van Slyke when you're a youth just suggests almost in Rip Von Winkle weird like Dutch, I actually wrote in my notes like old world Dutch Rip Van Winkle, Ichabod Crane, like Washington Irving Mystique. Pittsburgh. What is Pittsburgh? I don't know what this is. It's black and gold, and his name is Van Slyke, and he's flying through the air. And then so that just really captured my imagination back in the day. So those are my 5 names. Just to recap: Bill Wamsgans, Moses Fleetwood Walker, Kennesaw Mountain Landis, Lucky LaRue, and Andy Van Slyke. Those are my 5.
I actually believed Lucky LaRue until I remembered what we were actually doing here. You had me. I was bought in.
I should have sold the bit harder.
It was a good story. It really
enjoyed
was a good story.
Putting it together, you know.
But this was very much the Celebrity Jeopardy version. So Moses Walker, I think he had a brother named Welldale who also played baseball.
Wow.
Oh, yeah?
I think that's right. I'm not looking it up right now.
That's a great name
He had
too.
he had a very good name too.
If I switched
Well,
to my
I like that, Ted.
Sorry.
You got a little bit of your heart in that, which is another way to. I'm a black box of baseball information, but I feel like you open yourself up to us a little bit. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Gordon.
Has there ever been a picture of Kennesaw Mountain Landis smiling? I swear, every picture I see of the guy, he looks like he's, angry man.
I found one of him at a Cubs game with his little granddaughter, and he looks like the scowl that's like dripping off his face with his
I've almost got the
granddaughter.
Kennesaw Mountain Landis hair.
Oh yeah, look at that.
You're close. You're close. Middle part that.
Okay, so I have 4 names.
Okay.
One of them I'm sure you've heard of, but I had to include it because it's just one of my favorite names of all time, much like Ted's. It's Mark Zebczynski. Mark with a C, of course, because Mark with a K would just be so vanilla.
Plebeian, yes.
He spells his last name RZEPCZYNSKI. And his nickname is one of my favorites ever, Scrabble. Mr. Zebczynski was a left-handed pitcher from Anaheim, California. He built a 10-year career scattered across 7 different teams. He won a World Series with the Cardinals in 2011, where he made 4 appearances against the Rangers without giving up a run. Mark is the first Major League player to have a surname starting with the letters RZ, Paul. You have to go back and search through your list. But, believe it or not,
that one.
He's not the only man in pro baseball with this insane last name. As Master Yoda would say, there is another. Walter Zebczynski. And believe it or not, no relation, was also a pitcher.
That's the amazing part.
He played in the Appalachian League in 1948. And statistics are hazy, but he pitched in 14 or 15 games in the D League. Not much more is really available on Scrabble. But I think that he has the longest run of consonants in Baseball Reference with a string of 7, if you discount the possibility of Y as a vowel like a sane person should. Okay?
I do.
So that was number 1.
That's one of those names that just to be able to pronounce it correctly feels like an accomplishment.
Oh, I've been practicing all day.
And I hope that you said that the statistics in the Appalachian League were hazy on purpose. That was nice.
That didn't occur to me, but yes, I'll take credit for that. Okay, second I have Willem J. Periwinkle, and it's Willem, not William. Okay, so there are at least 10 Whiteys in baseball history. There is current Tiger Riley Green, one-time movie star Vida Blue. The Negro Leagues had both Grady Orange and Yellow Horse Morris. And there have been a few guys named Red and too many named Brown or Black, but there is only one, Periwinkle. And his nickname, I did a little bit of background here, so just to fill in a little bit of background. Crayola crayons first came out in 1903. The original box of 8 cost 5 cents, which Seems kind of steep to me, actually, but they were a hit in the early 20th century before the Depression changed everything. And it was the dead ball era when Mr. Periwinkle toiled in the semi-pro leagues before catching the attention of Cornelius McGillicuddy, Connie Mack. He was dubbed Crayola by the great Grantland Rice. Mr. Periwinkle had a handful of appearances with the 1903 A's, who finished second in the AL. He was unable to crack into the starting rotation, which at that time included 3 Hall of Famers, Eddie Plank, Rube Waddell, and Chief Bender. After a disappointing sophomore season in 1904, he was first sent down to the New York State League and then the Pacific Coast League, and then details beyond that are missing. Incidentally, nobody knows what the middle initial J stood for. I'd like to imagine it could be Jasper or maybe Juniper. So we have Scrabble number 1, Crayola number 2.
Beautiful.
Okay, number 3 is Ira seeds, also known as suitcase seeds.
It's too good.
Okay. I'm trying not to laugh. Suitcase Seeds built a 9-year career, accumulating 0.6 WAR between the 8 years of 1930 and 1940. Mr. Seeds, with that unique last name, I'm not kidding, ironically, was born into a family of farmers. He developed, in Ringgold, Texas. Ted, I don't know if that's anywhere near where you grew up.
Wrinkle.
No, Ringgold.
Ringgold. I don't know
Ringgold,
Ringgold. I don't know. Ah.
So Suitcase developed his skills playing on semi-pro teams throughout high school, and then he signed on to play in the Texas Association D League in 1926. Suitcase thought he was a shortstop, but he had 61 errors in 95 games, most of those throwing errors. He and everyone unfortunate to have to watch him began to second guess whether the infield was right for his skill set. No. The answer is no. He quickly became a respectable outfielder, and that's how he broke in with the Cleveland Indians, who bought his contract. As early as 4 years later, he had already earned his nickname Suitcase, a name given to him because in an era when the reserve clause was wielded like a hammer, Suitcase Seeds bounced around from team to team to team. In his case, it was the Indians to the White Sox to the Red Sox, back to Cleveland, and then to play for the New York Yankees and then the New York Giants. And that's not to mention the 8 minor league teams which he played for starting in 1926. Late in his career, he bought his own team, the Amarillo Gold Sox, in the West Texas New Mexico League, and never had to move again. Okay?
Fabulous.
Who's the writer here?
Fabulous.
Wielded the reserve clause like a hammer.
All right, my final player here. You never want to be the guy who replaces the guy, said with a capital T and capital G. And if there ever was the guy, it was Babe Ruth. Hard to imagine, but the Yankees outright released Babe in February of 35 after a 5-WAR season where he had apparently a down year with only a 985 OPS. Babe was 40 years old, and the Yankees had the replacement in a man they called Twinkle Toes. George Alexander Selkirk from Ontario, Canada, also known as Twinkle Toes Selkirk. Not only did Twinkle Toes take over right field, he also assumed Babe's jersey number 3 for the Yankees. At 6'1" and 180, I have to assume that Twinkle Toes was issued new flannel, as the Babe was rumored to weigh north of 260 by this point. Most fans haven't heard of Mr. Selkirk, but he actually filled Babe's shoes well. He didn't have the power that Babe had, but he could hit. He had a .312 average with 859 OPS and 35 with very good defense, followed by 931 and 1040 OPS in 36 and 37. Twinkle Toes and the Yankees won the World Series in 36 and 37 and 38 and 39. So I think they did okay. Twinkle Toes is in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. And that's my 4.
All right, run them back one more time.
Fantastic.
So number 1, we had Mark Zipchinski, Scrabble.
Okay.
2, we had Willem Periwinkle, Willem Crayola. 3, we had Ira Seeds, a.k.a. Suitcase Seeds, and George Selkirk, a.k.a. Twinkle Toes. Have you heard
Do
of
we
any of
know
them?
why? Do we know why Twinkle Toes?
Oh, it was because of the way he ran, apparently. He ran on his toes. Like, ting, 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 ting.
Well, I've heard of Ripchinsky, so I'm crossing that one off.
Okay.
All right, I've heard of Selkirk, so
Okay.
cross that one off.
The other two, again, it's the same phenomena where if it's not real, you need to write a novel or at least a short story about.
Yeah. So we
Golly.
got Suitcase Seeds and
Crayola.
Willem Periwinkle.
I'm
Yes.
gonna say Willem Periwinkle is the fib just because is a little too too many stars appeared in that story. Grantland Rice showing up and all
Yeah,
that. But I'm
that's
open
good.
to being wrong here.
Well, I'm gonna go Suitcase Seeds because I felt Gordon having so much fun with the writing that maybe it was carrying him away.
I enjoyed all four of these. Ted is right. It is Mr.
Oh,
Periwinkle.
Good.
Willem
Alright.
Periwinkle.
Suitcase Seeds actually has a baseball card, a 1939 play ball that says Suitcase Seeds
That's
on the
amazing.
front of it.
That
so,
is fabulous.
That's
yeah.
so good.
Hard to beat. That was
I
awesome.
tried.
Yes.
I know a guy named Lavender that made my
Oh, yeah?
600, my top 600. So like,
I don't know.
there's
I
a
didn't catch
Crayola
11.
crayon version of this to be done in the
Nice.
future.
And there's also Paul Goldschmidt. This kind of fits, but
You could get the whole box, I think, with all that's out there. This was really fun.
yeah.
It was really interesting, and it opened up some new doors for me in terms of like something that I didn't touch with my 5 today, but like some really incredible names coming out of the Dominican and Puerto Rico and things that I don't quite have the full cultural like I can tell you everything about why Suitcase Seeds is an amazing name, but
Mhm.
there's some really cool names coming from other parts of the world too. And so many guys were named after presidents for like the first 200 years of America. And then that practice seems to have ended rather abruptly. And so
Yeah.
you learn a lot just looking at the names of baseball players.
Well,
Yeah.
one of my favorite name details is Sadaharu O, the Japanese Babe Ruth. If I understand this correctly, and I might screw up a detail, but I think his name translates as king.
Oh.
And his surname. And so when he was a rookie, striking out all the time and flailing and trying to find his swing, the fans giving him a hard time and call him the king of strikeouts. So that I always enjoyed that little bit of translation kind of thing.
Well, before we go, my wife wanted me to make sure to mention a few honorable mentions. I'll just give you the name. There wasn't enough about him to make him into a thing. There's a guy named Johnny Goodgame.
Never heard of
There's
him.
a player named Rags Faircloth.
No, I've never heard of him.
There's an umpire, this is a 19th century umpire named E.C. Volts. So like
Oh.
before electricity. And last but not least, this was my wife's favorite. There's a Negro Leagues player named Warren Peace.
No way.
It's amazing.
Your wife made that one up.
That's her. That's her.
Game's over.
Her fictional name.
Game's over. Warren
Well,
Peace. Look him up.
Gordon, thanks for joining us. This has been a pleasure, and we love the work that you create, adding all these great stories to the world. So thanks for
Yeah,
joining us.
Yeah, I love your podcast as well, Paul. Your writing is phenomenal.
Thank you,
I
sir.
wish you the best on Substack, man. I look forward to it every time because I know that you don't go surface level. I don't know how you keep. I don't know how much research you're putting into these things, but I don't know how you have time because I know just to cover like the level that I'm covering, which is nowhere near to the level of depth that you go. How time consuming it is. So kudos to
Well,
you.
the technical skills that you put on your storytelling, always, I'm in awe of what you're able to get done on so many levels. So a tip of the cap right back at you.
Thank you.
So that is all from this first installment of the baseball name game. Only what, Paul, 590 more installments to go, I think.
I mean, we're set.
Brought to you by Clear the Field and Athlete Archives. Got a favorite baseball name of your own? Maybe a little story behind it. drop it in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking, which one sparked your imagination. If you would care to leave a rating or a review, it really helps us, gives us a boost. You can find more baseball stories from Paul on his Substack Project 318. More from me at takenote.space. And last, but by no means least, be sure to check out Gordon at the Athlete Archives on YouTube. Thanks for listening.